The Fed just took rate cuts off the table for 2026, and most Americans are still earning 0.3% on their savings account. Here are the 5 best places to put your cash right now while high rates actually last. Let's start with where everyone goes first and why most people are still leaving serious money on the table. Banks are still advertising savings accounts as if it's 2018. Walk into any major bank today and they'll hand you a rate somewhere between 0.01% and 0.5%. That is not a typo. The national average savings rate at traditional brick-and-mortar banks is still sitting below 0.5%, even though the federal funds rate has been above 4% for over 2 years. The banks are keeping the spread. You need to stop letting them do that to you. Number 1 on this list is the high-yield savings account, but there is a massive difference between picking one and picking the right one. Online banks have been competing hard for deposits, and right now you can find accounts paying anywhere from 4.5% to 5.2% annually, with 0 minimum balance requirements and no monthly fees. A few names worth looking at right now are Marcus by Goldman Sachs, Sophie, Discover Online Savings, and Ali. The key detail you need to understand is that the rate is variable, meaning it floats with the Fed's decisions. If the Fed does eventually cut, your yield drops with it. That makes high-yield savings ideal for your emergency fund and cash you expect to spend within the next 6 to 12 months, not money you're trying to compound over years. For $10,000 sitting idle, the difference between 0.3% at a traditional bank and 5% at a high-yield account is roughly $470 per year. That is not life-changing money, but it is your money, and right now the bank is simply keeping it. Number 2 is money market funds, and this is where things start to get more interesting. Not the money market deposit accounts offered by banks, which are still mostly paying below 1%, but actual money market funds held inside a brokerage account. Fidelity's SPACX, Schwab's SWVXX, and Vanguard's VMFXX are all currently paying above 4.8% annually, and they update daily based on short-term treasury rates. The mechanics are simple. The fund holds ultra-short-term government and agency debt, collects the interest, and passes it directly to you. The yield tracks the Fed funds rate almost perfectly, which means while rates stay elevated, you are getting paid every single day. The catch is that money market funds are not FDIC insured. They are considered extremely low risk, with only one money market fund ever breaking the dollar in modern history during the 2008 financial crisis. But that nuance matters if you are someone who needs the FDIC backstop on every dollar. For most people who already have a brokerage account, switching your uninvested cash sweep to a high-yield money market fund instead of the default low-rate option your broker set for you is one of the simplest and fastest moves you can make today. It takes about 30 seconds and costs you nothing. Number 3 is Treasury bills, and if you are not using these, you are genuinely leaving guaranteed money on the table. T-bills are short-term U.S. government debt issued in terms ranging from 4 weeks to 52 weeks. Right now, a 3-month T-bill is yielding approximately 5.2% on an annualized basis, and a 6-month T-bill is close behind at around 5.1%. But the real edge is not just the rate, it is the tax treatment. T-bill interest is exempt from state and local income taxes. If you live in a high-tax state like California or New York, that exemption can effectively bump your after-tax yield by 0.5% to over 1% compared to a bank account paying the same nominal rate. You can buy T-bills directly through treasurydirect.gov with as little as $100, or through any major brokerage inside your regular account. The 4-week and 8-week bills are the sweet spot if you want to stay liquid and keep rolling them over while rates hold. Set them on auto reinvest, and they essentially function like a high-yield savings account that pays better and gets a tax break on top. For $50,000 parked here versus a traditional savings account, you are looking at a difference of over $2,400 per year. Every year rates stay where they are. That number compounds fast when you do the math on your own balance. Number 4 is brokered CDs, and this one is time-sensitive in a way the others are not. A certificate of deposit locks in a rate for a fixed period. Right now, you can find brokered CDs through Fidelity, Schwab, and Vanguard, paying 5% to 5.4% for terms between 6 months and 2 years. Fully FDIC insured up to standard limits. The time-sensitive angle is this. The moment the Fed signals any kind of pivot, even a soft one, those rates will start to fall. We have already seen yields on longer-term CDs drop meaningfully from their peak as market expectations shift around. Building a CD ladder right now, meaning spreading money across multiple maturities so that a portion comes due every 3 to 6 months, lets you lock in today's rates without tying up all your cash at once. If you have $30,000 you do not need immediate access to, splitting it equally across 3 6-month CDs maturing at different points over the next 18 months means you are always earning close to peak rates while maintaining rolling liquidity. The risk of sitting on cash and waiting for a better moment with CDs is that the better moment is right now, and it has been for a while. The people who locked in 12 months ago are still collecting those rates. The people who waited are still waiting. Number 5 is where most people never look, and it is the one that can actually keep you ahead of inflation over time rather than just earning a nominal yield that inflation quietly eats. Short-duration Treasury inflation-protected securities, commonly called TIPS, offer something none of the other options on this list do. Your principal adjusts with inflation. The Consumer Price Index is still running above 2% annually. A standard high-yield savings account, or T-bill, pays you a nominal rate that inflation can erode in real terms depending on how conditions shift. TIPS. Adjust the face value of the bond with CPI movements, then pay interest on top of that adjusted principal. The iShares 0, 5-year TIPS, Bond ETF, ticker STIP, and the Vanguard Short-Term Inflation-Protected Securities ETF, ticker VTIP, are both liquid options that hold short-duration TIPS and carry low expense ratios under 0.05%. These are not a replacement for your emergency fund or your short-term spending cash. They are for the portion of your savings you are setting aside for 12 months, and beyond that, you genuinely want protected from inflation regardless of where the Fed goes next. Over the past 2 years, short-duration TIPS funds have outperformed traditional savings accounts on an after-inflation basis precisely because of this adjustment mechanism. And that protection matters more when the inflation outlook is uncertain. Here is the honest priority order for all of this. Your emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of living expenses, belongs in a high-yield savings account or money market fund. Easy access, safe, earning a real rate. Any cash beyond that which you will not need for the next 3 to 12 months should be rolling into T-bills, because the after-tax advantage is too significant to ignore when rates are this high. For cash you are accumulating and will not touch for 12 months or longer, a CD ladder combined with a small allocation to short-duration TIPS covers you on both the rate lock side and the inflation protection side simultaneously. And if you already have a brokerage account and you are sitting in the default cash sweep paying under 1%, switching that sweep to a money market fund takes 30 seconds and costs nothing. That one change alone on a $25,000